I'm here with Lewis outside the Etihad Stadium. Yeah, I mean, we've lost 2-0, Lewis. What are your thoughts on what you've seen?
Obviously the same old stuff for the finishing. Like, genuinely, we are probably the most impotent team in the league. We never take our chances. But even in spite of that, I'm not really coming out of this game feeling as angry as I was after the Arsenal match. Like, I think we played well. First half, I think, kind of a bit slow of our decision making in the final third, but I thought the likes of Broja, you could see his raw talent right there. Once he gets a bit more experience, he's going to be a much better player. That speed and that sight and that strength for his age and being able to be that quick as well, it's really good. It's a really good look for him, and I think give him a bit more game time, give him a bit more experience, you'll see a better player. Zakaria, I thought he looked good in phases. Lewis Hall, very unlucky not to score. I thought Ortega had a very good game. He won man the match today, deserved it. But it's not like the Arsenal game where I'm coming out of this game thinking we got bopped off the park, we were second best, we didn't even try. I thought we come out of this game with our heads held high, we went down swinging. It's a much better performance.
Okay. Well, do you know what, Lewis? I have to say, a lot of people probably thought we'd be angry, but I have to agree with you on that. We've come out of this game rotating a little bit, but not much. I mean, we saw key players coming on in the second half. What are your thoughts on Mount, Havertz, Gallagher, Sterling, the impact that they made when they came off the bench?
Mount, Havertz didn't really have too much impact, but 2-0 City, you know how they see games out. Like, I didn't really expect too much. Even in spite of that, like, we were still making chances. Pulisic, Lewis Hall, both had great chances. You could say maybe they could have done better, but I still don't think with the finishing, it's like we should be doing so much better. I'm pissed off. You guys should be doing so much more. I think Ortega had a really good match. I think in spite of that, we still built chances. City, like, when they start getting into full flow, when they start pinging passes together, they are unreal. And I think we already knew going into this game we were going to be second best. And it was just about how we played and the individual performances and everything like that. And there was players that could have played better. I think Pulisic's decision-making needs to be so much faster. So it's like 10 seconds before he makes a decision. And when you're playing a team like City, you can't do that. Ziyech at periods in the first half was a bit slow, but I think he kicked into life a bit more in the second half. Overall, I think it was just, you can't do anything about the free kick for the first goal. Maybe the wall could have jumped a little bit higher, but it's a good free kick. From that sort of angle, you have to time it perfectly, and he did it perfectly. You can't say too much about that. Second one, I think Koulibaly could have come back a bit better. I think Mendy, again, palming it out straight into danger. That's already an issue that we know he has, and it showed yet again today. But that's why City's a better team than us. We both rotated. It was basically B team versus B team, and
you say that, but we still had a lot of players that have been playing regularly for us, with Cucurella, Koulibaly, obviously Mendy. I thought Mendy actually had quite a decent game. What did you think about Mendy's performance? Not distribution-wise, but I think he made some good saves.
There was some nice saves here and there, but he kept putting us under pressure with his distribution. And the second goal he could have done a bit better with. Like, Ortega's the second keeper, and he looks better than both of ours. Let's be real about it. I'm not seeing that sort of goalkeeping performance from Mendy. Kepa, you might see every now and then, but like, I'm still not too sure about him overall. Let's be real about it. But even in spite of that, like, I want to try and remain positive at some points because we're going to have such a long season. Things are going to get way worse before it gets better. Newcastle, probably going to be even worse. I think today, like, for the team that we played, for the nature of the performance, I think we played a lot better than I would have expected.
So we can come out of it with some positives.
Yeah, there's some positives. Lewis Hall looks good. I think Chalobah still looks good. Kovacic, Zakaria and phases were very good. Broja, I think, looked really good. Yeah, like, he was a bit isolated here and there, but he was asking questions of the defenders. It was really hard to get the ball off him at times. And when he has a bit more experience, I think his decision-making is going to be a lot better. But again, there's more positives than negatives to take out this game.
Would you start Broja ahead of Aubameyang going into the Newcastle game?
I mean, in terms of ability, I'm not going to say he's better than him, but if we're talking about whether he should start or not, I think he'd press better. I think he'd ask a lot more questions of defenders better. There's a chance for him to start. Like, Aubameyang, if he's not in the end of chances, he's really not doing anything. Havertz, I've already spoken numerous times this season, the last thing I want to see is him up top. Why not play Broja? Why not play Zakaria? We saw how well he played next to Jorginho against Zagreb. Yeah, he wasn't as good today, but like, I still saw a lot better from him than what I saw from the midfield against Arsenal. And like we've been saying, we were talking about this on the way up, players shouldn't be starting based off just their name value alone. Like, these players, they've shown already in this game. I think even Pulisic looked a lot better than what I've seen from Sterling and what I've seen from Mount and what I've seen from Havertz over the last few games. The bar is in hell. We can call it what it is, but those players, I think they got just as much of a right to start as anybody else.
Now, obviously, we can come into this game with our head held high, but it is another loss. Graham Potter's under a lot of pressure. What do you say to all the Chelsea fans that are putting the pressure on, and what's your stance on Potter?
Well, like, I just keep looking at it like this. Potter or Tuchel, the team isn't good enough. The team needs a complete overhaul. I still believe, as much as people are judging Potter now, if we were to talk about Tuchel being sacked and who we wanted to replace him with, a lot of people would have said Graham Potter, and I think people are just pissed because Tuchel got treated unfairly. But he did. It's Chelsea. It is what it is. I think regardless, 80-90% of this squad need to be overhauled if we want to talk about a proper rebuild. I keep going back to Arteta, I keep going back to Jurgen Klopp. They completely changed the entire squad, and now they look a lot better as a result. Like, I know the football ain't going to be good this season. I think a lot of us know that. We're all questioning whether we're even going to make top 4 or not. If we don't back the squads, then why are we going to blame the manager for it? Because clearly we don't rate the squad either. I think he needs a window or two, the same way Tuchel needs a window or two. He needed an extra window or two. And after that, you can make a fair assessment of him. Right now, you can criticise his decisions in-game, starting and everything like that, whether there's players that should be on the pitch or not. That's fair, but I'm not saying Potter out this early. I was never even saying Tuchel out that early either. The problem's the players. We need a complete overhaul in the midfield. We need a complete overhaul in the attack. Don't even trust either of our goalkeepers yet. So again, why do we expect something magical from this squad when they're just not good enough? Overhaul the squad and then back Potter, and we'll see what happens.
Thank you, mate. Cheers.